The first scream didn't come from the crowd. It came from inside my head. The moment the veil descended and the alien princess stood before us unseen. They said hearing that silence meant madness. Or death. Or worse. I stayed on my feet anyway. Around me, thousands of beings from 100 worlds held their breath inside the crystalline amphitheater of the Varelian Concord. Gravity hummed softly. Starlight refracted through living glass. At the center of it all stood Princess Ithera, heir to an empire older than human civilization, her face hidden behind a ceremonial veil no one had ever lifted and lived to describe. Bonding with her was forbidden without seeing her face first. Everyone knew why. But that was only the beginning. I was Captain Elias Rowan of Earth's last diplomatic fleet, if you could call a handful of patched-together ships a fleet. Humanity was dying slowly, quietly, suffocating under treaties written by species who saw us as brave pets at best, expendable labor at worst. This bonding ritual was supposed to be symbolic. A show of unity. No one actually expected a human to step forward. When my name echoed through the amphitheater, a ripple of disbelief passed through the crowd. A human? Bonding with her? I felt every eye on me as I walked toward the central dais. My boots rang against the glass floor, each step louder than the last. I remembered the warnings whispered by alien envoys before we arrived. Those who bond without seeing her face lose their minds. Some scream. Some go blind. One tried to tear out his own memories. No one knew what she truly was. And yet, when I reached the dais, I didn't stop. Princess Ithera stood perfectly still. Tall. Slender. Her presence pressed against my senses like deep water. The veil shimmered, alive with faint patterns that pulsed in rhythm with my heartbeat. "Human," she said, her voice resonating not just in my ears but in my chest. "You understand the consequence." I swallowed. "I do." The presiding elder's mandibles clicked sharply. "This is unprecedented. The ritual demands visual communion." "She has denied it," another elder hissed. "As she always does." The truth was known across the Concord. Ithera refused to reveal her face because any who saw it experienced catastrophic neural collapse. Her species, the Eltheri, existed partially outside linear perception. To see her fully was to see too much. And yet the bond required trust beyond sight. No one dared. Until me. The elder turned to me. "Human Elias Rowan, why would you choose blindness? Or madness? Or death?" I thought of Earth's oceans turning acidic. Of cities swallowed by dust storms. Of my sister's last transmission, crackling with static as the lights failed behind her. "Because humanity has already seen the end," I said quietly. "And we're still standing." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Princess Ithera tilted her head. "You would bind your fate to mine without knowing what I am." "I already know," I said. "You're afraid." Silence fell like a blade. What I saw next changed everything. The veil pulsed once hard. "You presume much, human." "Maybe," I said. "But fear doesn't belong only to monsters." For the first time I felt something brush my mind. Not an attack. Not pain. A question. Why? Images flooded me unbidden. Vast cities built from light. Eltheri children taught never to look directly at their elders. Lovers separated by protocol. Ithera alone at the center of it all. Worshipped and isolated, powerful and untouched. She wasn't hiding her face to protect others. She was hiding to survive herself. The elder raised a staff. "Proceed or withdraw." I stepped forward and placed my palm against the bonding sigil hovering between us. The amphitheater gasped. The sigil flared white-hot and pain lanced through my skull. I tasted copper. My vision fractured into overlapping realities. Past, present, possibility. I saw myself old and young at once. Earth burning. Earth healed. I screamed. But I didn't let go. "Stop!" voices cried from the crowd. "He'll break." Princess Ithera staggered. For the first time her composure cracked. "Human, release the bond." "No," I gasped. "Not until you stop hiding." The veil began to dissolve. Half the amphitheater recoiled. Some collapsed instantly, clutching their heads. The elders shouted emergency commands. Shields snapped into place. I should have gone mad. I didn't. Instead I saw her. Not with my eyes but with something deeper. She was beautiful in a way that hurt. Not symmetrical. Not gentle. A being of layered existence, her form shifting between dimensions like a chord rather than a note. To see her fully would shatter most minds. But humans were already broken. We evolved staring into darkness, into death, into the infinite. And we kept going. The pain eased. Princess Ithera stared at me, her many-layered eyes wide with something dangerously close to hope. You can see me, she whispered. I can, I said softly. And I'm still here. That was the moment everything changed. The bond locked. Energy surged outward, knocking elders from their perches. The amphitheater ceiling flared as ancient safeguards struggled to contain what we'd done. Alarms screamed across the station. But beneath the chaos I felt her with me. Not inside my head but beside me. Equal. The elders realized the truth too late. The bonding didn't just link individuals. It rewrote power. The Elthari had built their empire on isolation, on keeping themselves untouchable. Their princess had been a symbol, not a person. And now bound to a human, one from a species that thrived on empathy, pain, and persistence, she was something new. The Concord panicked. This bond is invalid, an elder shrieked. Sever it. They tried. What none of them had prepared for was humanity's greatest evolutionary trait. Endurance. I held on as the severance fields tore at my nerves. I remembered every human who had endured worse with less hope. I remembered my sister's voice fading into silence. Ithera cried out, not in pain but in fury. Enough. Her voice thundered through every mind present. The fields collapsed. When the light faded, the amphitheater lay in ruins. Elders knelt or fled. Species that had ruled for millennia suddenly looked small. Princess Ithera stood unveiled. And she was smiling. The mid-story truth hit them like a supernova. The bond had stabilized her. Human neural architecture, chaotic, redundant, emotional, had anchored her multidimensional existence. For the first time in her life, she could exist fully without killing those around her. And for the first time in human history, we weren't begging. We were chosen. The Concord reconvened in emergency session. Demands flew. Threats followed. Ithera stood at my side, her presence calm, terrifying, and resolute. The age of isolation ends, she declared. Not through conquest. Through connection. They tried to argue. Then she showed them Earth. She let them feel what it was to love a planet that could kill you. To fight extinction with stubborn hope. To lose everything and still reach out. By the time she finished, many wept. The treaty that followed didn't save humanity overnight. But it changed our trajectory. Elthari technology flowed to Earth not as charity but as partnership. Other species followed. Slowly. Carefully. As for me, I was asked once if I regretted never seeing her face the way others might. I laughed. Because every day I saw more of her than anyone ever had. Not with my eyes, but with trust. In the quiet hours aboard the station, Ithera would stand beside me, her form shifting gently, safely. You were not afraid, she once said. I was terrified, I replied. I just stepped forward anyway. She considered that. Then perhaps, she said softly, that is why your kind survives. The galaxy would remember many things about that day. The broken amphitheater. The failed elders. The impossible bond. But I would remember the moment an alien princess stopped hiding. And humanity finally stopped kneeling.